at that time, I really did not believe in myself. But as I started to work on myself more and more, I started to feel really good. And I started to assert boundaries for myself, something I had never done. And I started to take a lot of agency for myself and the person that I was. And during that time, my clear audience opened up. What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Live Like Low. I'm going to check the mail. Basically, I came to talk to y'all about the part 2 to my awakening story. Awakening stories are long, y'all. I'm older than I look. I feel like sometimes, just based on like the spiritual community, a lot of people, you know, they'll have like their ascension story or their awakening story or whatever it is, but nobody really lets you know that there's levels to this shit, right? And that you go through awakenings constantly. But there are I feel like when you hit those big pivotal coin points, they change your life. And they just make you like a different person. You know what I mean? And so basically, that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to just be walking around the house, honestly. Basically, how this story kind of starts is... Hey, where's that?
Outside.
I thought you were gonna leave it. Anyway, so basically how this story starts is that we are, how did I leave off the last one? Okay, here we go. I've been making jewelry. The set that I have on is gonna be up for sale on the website. So basically, all right, so my second awakening story. Basically, there's going to be a little bit of pre-buttal before this. So from the last story, I had that dream and a lot of stuff changed after that. But I feel like I needed to give you guys just one more thing that Spirit really wanted me to say. And it's going to be, I'm going to make sure to let you guys know that this is a trigger warning for anyone who has experienced any type of abuse or sexual abuse, so that you know. But right before I had that awakening, right before all of this stuff had happened, I had experienced just like the most traumatizing experience where you know, I was taken advantage of and I was raped and it sucked ass, and I did not have a lot of confidence in who I was, and I was really searching for what God really meant, because my idea of God was I would think like, you know, my idea of God is a lot different from a lot of people, and I was like, the God that I know, you know, at that time, I was like, this is not the kind of God that would just allow something like that to happen. And it took a long time to understand that that incident happened for me. And it sucks to say that aloud, but I know that to be my truth, and I still have some resistance to it. But I know if I had never experienced it, I would have never become the person that I was today, because it made me take a full 180 on my life. And I completely changed after that, for mostly the worst at first. And then it really got better in a way that I had never seen myself before. And right after, and this experience happened, I want to say maybe like 6 to 9 months after. And I was just getting to a place where I could really be around other people and interact with a partner. And I really didn't know at the time, but I was basically in a relationship that was starting to become abusive. And after I had that experience, my partner just started to become really abusive. And And because of that whole experience and that mistrust in myself, it just all fed into each other and all of my gifts stopped. I couldn't hear spirit anymore. I couldn't see spirit anymore. I didn't feel a part of the ether anymore. I felt like I was stuck here. Like I was I was stuck in a realm, and I knew there were other realms, but I couldn't communicate with the people that I was used to communicating that helped me get through things, and it was gone. And no matter how hard I tried, how much I meditated, no matter what I did to consistently get that feeling, get that thing back, it never came. And I went into a really deep depression. And it was very in and out. I started to have anxiety, and I was working really hard because at this point I was really deep into my program and I was about to graduate. But I had lost all sense of self for quite some time after this. So I guess to preface, after all of this happened, I want to say maybe 6 months after that experience, I broke up with that guy who was just probably a few years later, I started dating someone else. And this person just felt like probably was like my soulmate, my twin flame. And I was just so in love with this person. I thought we were going to get married, have family, blah, blah, blah. End of story, it didn't work out. But during the phase of our relationship, this person moved across the country. And it allowed me to expand the person that I was and to expand myself, to fill up all of my space because I was alone and I had to rediscover who I was. I had to start to understand the trauma and the pain that I was going through, and knowing that every single day I couldn't keep going through that pain. I couldn't keep letting this stuff not allow me to be who I'm meant to be or be the person that I am. And I totally get it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's really rough. At that time I really did not believe in myself, but as I started to work on myself more and more, I started to feel really good. And I started to assert boundaries for myself, something I had never done. And I started to take a lot of agency for myself and the person that I was. And during that time, my clairaudience opened up. I did not have clairvoyance at that time. All the way up until that point in college, I had clairvoyance and it was wide open. I could see spirits on people and I could see them. I could see them lurking through the apartments, everything. I could not see them anymore. But I could hear spirit talking to me. And it started really low and really faint, like a whisper. But there was a time where I just started listening to my intuition, and I just started believing that, I just started believing more in myself, taking a more positive route, trying to look at a more positive outlook on my life. I had felt like I had failed utterly, and I had really just came into myself. Fast forward maybe like a year or two, I graduated early from my program in December. So it was just 6 months early, so I had to wait 6 months to actually walk for my graduation. And so during this time, I was on set. By the way, I went to school for film, so I was on set, I was working, and I was hitting like 12-hour days, doing multiple film shoots a day, multiple projects at a time. And it wasn't just my own projects. Like I was working on everybody else's projects too. And after basically the last project of the year, it was my first time directing, and my whole crew dissipated underneath my feet. And that really did something to me, and I had felt like I had failed, and I have never failed. ever at this point. And my confidence just crashed. It fell into the mud, and I felt like I had nobody. I felt like I had nobody to lean on. I felt like what the stuff that I loved and I wanted to keep and continue to happen for me, I just didn't believe in it anymore.